Okay, so today is April 23rd. Here is what we are going to do. We're going to do a little anonymous peer review. We're going to go over uh, some of the assignments that were turned in yesterday, but keep it anonymous. Don't shout out, "That was me, that was you," this, that, and the other. Just go over the basics so we can review how to fix little mistakes with the writing assignments, because that's what level 6 is all about: writing every day, fixing little mistakes. And then after we do that, we're going to look at the vocabulary list. And I wrote about 25 vocab words from the Mission US game that we're going to use on Thursday. So you want to be very ready to make complete sentences with the vocabulary that I shared in the WhatsApp group. That the definitions are on the handout that we gave you in class, and it's also available in Google Classroom. So be ready to be familiar with those vocab words, and I will play a fun round of Typhoon, and it will be hosted by Riley. Riley and some of his classmates from Boston College will come and make a little video of us playing with a Typhoon game that's interactive with that vocabulary. So be ready, and it'll be a lot of fun. So study those vocab words. Then we'll study together, reading about the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. Some of you started reading yesterday. Caesar was quite moved about the story, reading at the end of class. That'll be an assignment for next week. And then we'll take a break, and I'll try my very best to finish up the end of semester interviews with students, while everyone on your own, you can try your best to finish up to level 4. Level 4 is where Lena Brodsky gets a job working at that factory where there would eventually be the tragic fire. So that's where you want to get to in level 4 on your own. And oh my goodness, this is funny. I've got closed captions in Arabic. I don't know why. Look, my captions are all in Arabic. Let me see if I can switch my captions back. Can anybody read this? Mohammed isn't here today. All right, let me switch my captions back to English. Hold on a second. Where are my captions? All right. Oh, Mohammed is here. Perfect. I said Mohammed's name and he came. Let's see if Mohammed. Hey, Mohammed, how you doing? Oh, wait, it's English now. The moment Mohammed walks in, it comes back to English. All right, my closed captions are on the screen. It's the speech to text feature on Zoom, so you can read what I'm saying. A moment ago, it was all coming up in Arabic, and I said your name. I said, "Oh, can anybody read this?" Mohammed is not here, and then you came, and it switched back to English the moment you came. Anyway, so let's keep going. Enough fooling around. Okay, so let's get to the anonymous peer review, the first part of our class. So remember, if it's your writing sample that we're critiquing, don't shout out, "It was me, it was me." Or if it's your friends, don't shout out, "Oh yeah, that was him, that was her." We'll just identify changes, mistakes, ways to improve. So that's the vocabulary we're going to study. But first, let's go over this writing sample. And we can use our chat feature to identify any changes to be made. All right. Here is the first writing sample. Do I have a volunteer?
Yeah, I can do.
Go for
Yeah,
it.
it's me.
Wait,
I will.
hold on a second. Who wants to speak first?
Kalo,
I
go ahead.
will.
Go ahead. Okay, Kayla's very excited. You can do the next one, Mohammed.
Yeah.
All right.
When I first read the story of Lena, I felt like I was in his story, not just because of situation, but because of feelings. This story reminded me a lot of my situation when I first arrived at United States. There were a lot going on in my mind. because I know I was going to answer some question, and
So
those questions
faster.
should determine if I was going to stay or not. So I have to be straight in my answer, and then I got two of those questions. I was yes, I did it, and then we my what is
Uh,
with my NC can get me. I was still can't believe it. My eyes was like, oh my god, it was my first time, just like Lena. So when I felt I was really tired. It was 12 p.m. Then I go to the kitchen, talk with my auntie. Those feelings I had this day, I don't really know how to describe it, but it's really enjoy. I really enjoy my first day.
All right, now remember to keep these anonymous. Anonymous. So anonymous, if you know the
This
writer,
sounds like good.
or if you are the writer, don't shout, this was me, this was me. So the name is anonymous.
Who is this?
We don't need to know. So stay anonymous. Okay. So right now, let's all write in the chat. If you write your suggestions in the chat. So I'll start reading aloud once I get about 6 or 7 suggestions. So there's plenty of grammar mistakes we can fix here, but let's start small. We definitely have a story. We definitely have something going on, but we have to fix a lot of little tiny grammar mistakes. Let's all do it together right in the chat. Take your time.
If we see the grammar mistake, we have to say it in the chat room.
Oh yeah,
and then-
let's just exercise writing suggestions in the chat for now. Here we go.
Okay.
And I'll start the first one. Okay, Raphael, there we go. Raphael, good job. All right, so Raphael made a suggestion and I just responded to his suggestion. I'll identify it right there. So Raphael says, use capital letters in pronouns. So this one is perfect. Capital I, felt like I was, but then over here, lowercase I, lowercase I, lowercase I, lowercase I, lowercase I, lowercase I. So this is what you were talking about, right, Raphael?
Sorry, teacher.
I mean, what I'm circling, this is what you're identifying, correct?
Yes,
There you go. So
finally
yeah,
arrived. I was not really.
exactly.
I got
So
into the kitchen.
capital I, that's perfect. And then for this, there we go. I'll just put a little yellow X there. We need a capital I, not the lowercase I. That's a lowercase I. Many lowercase I. So these little tiny mistakes we want to catch in proofreading. That's the most noticeable. Good job, Raphael. Any more grammatical errors? I'm saying grammar because we understand what's happening in the story. There's not a problem with clarity. We understand what is going on in the piece of writing, but the grammar mistakes make it a little bit hard to understand. Any other? Okay, Laura gave us a suggestion. There we go.
What?
Okay.
Teacher,
All right. Now this is an interesting suggestion. Laura says, when I first read Lino's story.
teacher. So You hear me?
I can hear you, yes.
Yeah. So story of Lena and Lena's story. What's the difference?
Well,
I think-
I think we're actually getting to, I think both of them are problematic because they mean the
okay.
same, they mean the same thing.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay. Thank
Uh,
you. Thank you. That's
Caesar,
why I'm
what's-
wondering.
We have a clarity, we have
Yeah.
one factual error. Is this a book that we're reading? Or is it something else?
Oh, it's not the book.
It's not a book.
No, it's not the book. Yeah.
So Laura, how would we indicate to the reader? Because remember, the reader didn't play the game, so they don't know what we're talking about.
The reader didn't read the game.
Yeah, the reader has
Tell
no
me
idea
that.
what's going, what you're talking, what the writing is about. So how do we tell the reader what's happening? What words do we need to describe to the reader what this is about? Is it a book, a movie, a video game? What are we writing about?
Writing about a
Video
movie.
game.
Right. So there's no. So if I'm reading this and I've never played the game, I have no idea it's about a video game.
Oh,
So that's
smart.
so. Who can give a suggestion instead of when I first read the story of Lena or when I first read Lena's story? What should we change to indicate what we're talking about here? How do we change that? When I first
When I
Wow, good
first
suggestion.
played the video game.
Very good. Kalo and Laura are actually making the same suggestion at the same time. When I first played,
Play.
there we go. So now we know what we're talking about. When I first played Mission US or
Yeah.
Mission US City of Immigrants or Lena, the game featuring the fictional character, the character Lena Brodsky, whatever you want to say, then the reader can understand what's really going on.
Yeah.
That's important. Because if I'm just looking at this piece of writing, I think it's a book, but it's not a book.
Yeah. You are right.
So this is good. This is a good exercise. Any other suggestions? I'll give one suggestion. This is actually a use of slang that we want to change a little bit in academic writing. I can't believe it. My eyes was like, OMG. I know what you mean, but that's more like slang. It's more like text speak. How about we might want to say, I felt my thoughts were, or you could say the look in my eyes were OMG. Because
Yeah, you
then
right.
it might be more clear. It's more. Sometimes it's like when you're writing academically, you want to change the way you would speak casually with your friends.
No, you
For the
wanna more professional.
Yeah,
That'll
yeah,
be
that's
more
exactly what I
professional.
mean. That's exactly. So we could change it a little bit. I still couldn't believe it. The look in my eyes were of disbelief, of astonishment. I could not, my life would change forever. I'm changing countries. It's a very personal story. It's a very emotional story, but we don't want to trivialize that by getting the tone wrong. Any other suggestions, team? We got a lot of great minds in the class.
I think it's a running sentence, the have
Which one?
period, point, in never part of the reading.
Where is it?
It's Gustav. I have to put separate in sentence,
Where is
have
it?
to put point some part,
Oh yeah,
it's a running sentence.
I mean, which sentence? There's a whole paragraph here. Which sentence are you talking about, Gustavo?
I don't know specifically what,
Yeah,
but it's so long,
Well, be specific. Be specific.
Let me try to read again.
Okay.
I am a little bit busy.
Okay. Well, we're in class now.
Yeah, I know, but
You can come. You can. If you have to go, you can come back and join us later. Any other suggestions?
Teacher, you see the FG, I don't know who is writing, but you give a lot of suggestion and the
Oh, that's Fernando. Fernando, yes, Fernando gave us some suggestions. Fernando. I was not really correct.
It's just like correct the
Oh, yeah,
capital
yeah, there was the same, that was a
capital
capital I
letter.
suggestion. Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
Fernando is making the same suggestion as Rafael.
Teacher,
Okay,
I want to
yes.
know another thing. When I read this story, I feel like I understood very well what's going on, and you write about and you don't know where the story come from, but this story, like you really should. It's like not professional, but
Mhm.
I really understand what's going on in this text. But if you have to give a note, what's not gonna be for this text?
It's all a process. It's all a process. It's good to read it yourself and then maybe get another reader in class to to check for clarity and mistakes. Let's move on to the next sample. Okay, this is another piece of writing.
I
And
read.
okay, well, actually, no. Mohammed wanted to read. Mohammed, would you like to read this time?
Not here.
Or not Mohammed? Let's hear from anybody else. Judith, Jean, Laura, Bashir, Fernando, Helenice, anybody.
I can read.
Go for it, Judith.
Okay. Lena Brodsky.
Mhm.
It's an immigrant who has living in Minsk, Russia, and who leaves her country to come to live in America because her family suffered from the anti-Jewish violence of the pogroms.
Mhm.
She has to work very hard to get money and save to pay for tickets for her parents, who are still living to Russia. To leave this country, Mrs. Lena must go to school to learn English so that she can communicate with people and get a better job. She's under pressure to learn English and get job and save money. My situation in America is different to my first days, since my parents are not persecuted by the government. I'm not under pressure to save money for my parents to leave her country. However, I must go to school to learn English to get a better job.
Very good, very good. All right. So same
Teacher.
thing. Let's take a moment and then write suggestions in the chat.
Teacher,
Judith. Just go
and
ahead.
this
Take a
text,
moment. Let's write suggestions in the chat. I'll write one suggestion.
this is you come from me.
Thank you, Caesar. Thank you, Fernando. Okay, I'll actually start with my suggestion. This was easy to make because mink is an animal, but it's Minsk. It's a city in present-day Belarus, which is no longer part of Russia, Minsk. And you could and maybe the writer could indicate that it's a historical period in Minsk, formerly part of Russia, whatever, but somehow indicate that the time period. And Caesar suggested made a great suggestion. Good job, Caesar. Okay, Caesar said, we don't need and. Lena Brodsky is an immigrant who was living in Minsk, Russia, and who. We don't need the word and there. That's correct. Good job, Caesar. We can just say who. Fernando made the suggestion instead of leaves, except Fernando, you want to make it past tense. What's a past tense of leaves? She left.
Left.
Or fled, or in her situation, she was escaping. Left. She left. She got out because her parents were killed. She left her country to come to live in America because her family suffered from anti-Jewish violence. Correct. Okay, and Kalo. Kalo made a suggestion that some things are repetitive. Can you give us, be specific, which statements are repetitive or redundant?
The story of Lena, because you feel like the same story, because you don't know about this writer. You want to know his story to be you know his story, but you repeat the same story of Lena.
Okay. This is something interesting. We don't need an S here because she is not married. You can just say Lena. She's only 14 years old. Lena must go to school to learn English. She cannot continue. People get a better job. She is under pressure. I don't know if it's that repetitive. There is a good transition comparing the writer's story to the character in the game. Let's see. Any other suggestions here?
With English, you are always with E, capital E.
Yes, very good, very good. And the computer helped. The computer underlined in blue some grammatical errors. So there we go, Kalo. Capital E for English.
Yeah, always.
Is different to my first day. We don't want to say is different from first day.
My first day.
This was her experience is different from my first day. Capital I.
There's a problem with get job.
Yes, get a job. We need the
get
particle
a
there.
job.
Exactly.
The writer don't know if I am always with capital E.
There we go. Capital E for English. There we go. Capital I. There we go. So all of these little mistakes, you always want to be in the habit of correcting before turning it in. All right. And let's do one more. Let's do one more. Anybody want to volunteer to read the next one? This is a nice long one.
Let's do it.
Let's see. We heard from Kayla, we heard from Judith. Anybody want to read this next sample?
I can read, teacher.
Go for it.
In level 1, Lena was scared because she decided to come to the US in place of his brother. She thought that your brother Isaac didn't speak English, but he's fine. During the trip, she practiced all the questions. This situation is similar to when I arrived in the US, despite having a visa to enter. The social political situation in Venezuela makes it more difficult to enter the country. Once at immigration, the agent asked me many questions, some in English and others in Spanish, for a few minutes. I thought a lot of things, but the agent told me, "Welcome to the US." Back at the boarding line, I had a missing the connecting flight to Boston. At this moment, I was scared because I didn't know to explain at the airline counter that I missed my flight. She spoke too fast to understand her. I told to speak slowly and maybe I could understand her. Finally, I understood that I missed my flight and the next one would leave the next day at 6:30 a.m. I was all night at the airport.
All right. Let's take a moment and add our suggestions. Again, there's not a clarity problem. We understand exactly what the writer's talking about, but there are a few tiny little grammar mistakes that we can improve. So overall, the structure of the story is quite good. We know what's happening, but there are some ways we can improve it. Take your time, put your suggestions in the chat. And I'll begin actually. And there's my suggestion. Hey, Bensley, welcome. How are you?
Good, teacher, and you?
Very good. Okay, nice. Raphael made a nice.
Okay, we can go through.
Lena made a nice suggestion. Okay, very good. This is a good place to start. So, all right, in level 1, Lena was scared because she decided to come to the US in place of his brother. She thought your brother. My suggestion right there, it's just an issue with the pronoun. Her brother,
Teacher,
the character's brother. Yep.
instead of place, you can say instead of his brother. Is that better? Because I feel like in place doesn't
Okay.
work.
Let's,
It doesn't really
we'll get-
work.
I think you're onto it. Write it down in the chat. We're gonna go next to the suggestion of, oh yeah, Lena, our classmate, not not the character in the game, also made the same suggestion. Her brother Isaac, not your brother. So yeah, Lena made the same suggestion I did. Raphael said in the game, US Mission US City of Immigrants. Ah, okay, so Raphael is suggesting rewriting the topic sentence here. Sure, why not? Let's give it, let's try it. So I'm gonna change this with Raphael's suggestion. Everyone tell me what you think. In the game Mission US City of Immigrants, and then say, comma, Lena was scared. What does everybody think? I mean, you could do either way.
Afraid.
Rewriting the topic sentence. It could work. It's a good suggestion, Raphael. All right. Fernando says the socio-political. Yeah, Fernando, he did write, the writer did write that. So there's no.
Hey,
no
we talk. Hey, there's a S. She
So-
talks.
Political situation. Gustavo says, after playing level 1 of this game, City of. Okay, Gustavo makes another suggestion. After playing level 1 of City of Immigrants, that can also be a possibility. That's more, it's subjective. It's not, writing is an art, not a science. There's not one single right way to tell a story. All of those could work as topic sentences. Bensley suggests, putting quotations. Very nice, Bensley. This is a good idea. I told, let's just say, her to quote and put in quotations, speak slowly. And maybe I could understand her. So please speak slowly so I can understand this person speaking English quickly to me. That this is a good suggestion, Bensley. Put this in quotations. And Kalo suggests Lena was afraid. Yeah, that's a synonym of scared. Lena was scared. Lena was afraid. Those are synonyms. There are many suggestions. Very good.
There's another one.
Go for it.
You see,
Yeah. Lena was afraid. Why? Despite having a okay. So Caleb, despite having a visa to enter.
Why that? Despite having a visa to enter. We don't really know what's
It doesn't
going on.
add or subtract anything. It still it doesn't change the meaning at all. This situation is similar to when I arrived in the US, despite having a visa to enter. That's correct. There's nothing different. I mean, you could rewrite it, but there's nothing wrong with, so that's this sentence right here. There's nothing wrong with this sentence grammatically. But of course, you can change it if you want to. This one needs a capital T. That's the only one the computer caught. This is good. Welcome to the US. And as a reader, I'm feeling a sense of relief because this is good storytelling. The agent asked me many questions, some in English, others in Spanish. For a few minutes, I thought a lot of things. So when I'm reading, I'm getting scared. I'm feeling the emotion of the character in the story, which is good writing. And then the agent told me, welcome to the US. And as I read this, I'm in, I made it, I did it. It's just like the character in the game at Ellis Island. All those questions, so scared. What if I get sent back? And then come on in, welcome to America. Relief. Now I'm here, now what? That's good storytelling. Okay. I think that's enough. All right, let's go into the vocabulary. So this is important for tomorrow because Riley will host a game where we break up into teams and make sentences with these vocabulary words from the game. So we'll go from left to right. In the context of Mission US City of Immigrants, what is the definition of borders? And you can use the hand raising emoji or just write in the chat. Either one is fine. It's on the your vocabulary handout, or it's also in Google Classroom. So I'll actually, instead of underlining, I'll just put a check mark next to it. Borders, who can give it to us? We went over that yesterday. Not the borders of geography. What's the other definition of the word borders?
Person who pay for place to sleep and meals.
Exactly. Exactly. And a synonym of borders is this: a tenant. Someone paying for room and board, a boarder, a boarding house. A synonym of a boarder is a tenant. And then that word we borrow from French, but kind of change the way we pronounce it in America, bourgeois. What is the definition of bourgeois?
Yeah,
Remember, you can use your hand raising emoji or write in the chat. Either one is fine. And the way I'm saying it, for French speakers who are cringing when I say bourgeois, it is the sort of American
as
anglicized.
belonging and concern about
Exactly. Good job, Bensley. Yes, so it is a belonging to the middle class and concerned about material wealth. So the bourgeois, that's middle class, concerned about material wealth. The bourgeois.
Mm.
Very good, Bensley. Next word. Whoa, I lost my vocab slide. There it is. Okay. Next word. Consent. Consent. Kalo, go for it.
To agree to something or to give permission for something to happen.
Excellent job, Kalo. Consent. To agree or to give permission. There we go. And dignified. Write in the chat or use the hand raising emoji. Either one is fine. Raphael.
Behaving in a serious or formal manner.
Excellent. Behaving in a serious or formal manner. If everyone's familiar with the word dignity, it's dignified is a conjugating dignity as an adjective. Very good. Nice job, Raphael. Okay, and if anybody needs a reminder of where the hand raising emoji is, you go to reactions, go to your reaction key. I'm raising, you see my hand raising emoji up. And then remember, once you raise your hand, go back to reactions and lower your hand so it doesn't stay up the whole day. I think, Kalo, you still got your hand up.
No, because I
Yeah.
just raised my hand.
Yeah, but it doesn't go down automatically. So go back to reactions. and
No,
then-
I know.
Okay, there you go. You got it. You got it this time. Nice job. Okay, so next up, escort. Escort. Kalo, give it to us.
A person that goes with another person to give protection.
Exactly. A person to escort as a verb. To escort. Very good. All right, now next word, exploitation. Caesar, you probably know this one as a legal term. Bensley, go for it.
to use someone or something unfairly for your own benefit.
Exactly. So in level 3 of the game, she started working in a sweatshop. She was being exploited. All the workers in the sweatshop were exploited for the benefit of the owner. Very good, Bensley. Okay, next word. This is a colloquial expression. We don't say this much anymore. Greenhorn.
Greenhorn.
Greenhorn, yeah.
Greenhorn.
Yep. And that's on the 3rd page of the handout.
can't see it.
Oh, Raphael, give it to us.
Uh, a newly arrived immigrant who is still unfamiliar with city life and American ways.
Exactly. A new immigrant, unfamiliar with city life and the American ways. So the character, when she just came off, there's a lot of expressions that are synonymous with greenhorn. Off the boat, just off the boat, or wet behind the ears. But this could be a young person just getting used to life, or just generally naive. A greenhorn is someone just arrived in the country and hasn't quite figured out what's going on. So somebody who's naive, newly arrived, and naive and vulnerable, I should say. A naive, vulnerable, newly arrived immigrant. That's a greenhorn. Naive, vulnerable, and gullible. So does everybody remember the moment she set foot in Manhattan? There were people walking up to her trying to take her money.
Yeah.
That they could tell. They looked at her. They said, "She's a greenhorn. Let's get her. Let's take her money." All right, next one. Housewares. Kalo, did you want to give us the definition of housewares?
Yeah, items for the home, such as pots or cooking supplies.
Very good. Yes, items for the home such as pots or cooking supplies.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, this is a long acronym that's part of U.S. history. ILGWU, and it's in your textbooks actually, or one of the photos.
Yes, is there. The International Ladies Garment Workers Union,
Very good.
an organization that represents workers in the women's clothing industry in New York City in discussion with their employers.
Very good, very good. So in chapter 2, we mentioned unionization during the Progressive era. International Ladies Garment Workers Union, that was a big player in this period of time. All right. So you could use, if you're making a sentence, you could say, who were the ILGWU? They were a labor union. Well, who did they represent? They represented a lot of workers who were exploited. Many of them were greenhorns, who just arrived in America, and they were taken advantage of in sweatshops. So think about using these new vocabulary words and phrases for Thursday. All right, let's keep going. This one's easy. Injustice. It's implied in the word, but who wants to give it to us? Yeah, go for it, Bensley. It means injustice. It's the opposite of justice. Lack of justice, unfairness.
Situation in which the right of a
Yep. And Bensley's reading the definition, so we can do that too. Injustice, a situation in which the rights of a person or group of people are not recognized. So yes, when a group of people, their rights are violated, that is injustice. Very good. Kosher. Remember when she was shopping at the market, she had to look for
food that's under to Jewish religious dairy was.
Exactly. So in your communities, you might be more familiar with halal food. Kosher, there's quite a lot of similarities. Halal, think halal and kosher. There are some similarities. They're not the same. They're not the same, but they are similar. It's food specific to a religious ordinance. Minsk.
Formerly a Mediterranean city in Russia and the Soviet Union, Minsk is now the capital of Belarus and East Europe.
There you go. So yes, formerly part of Russia, then the Soviet Union, now an independent state, independent capital city of Belarus, which is now a different country, which is super confusing when we're talking about the game and set in history, but it's important to remember. Because you might meet a student from Belarus if you meet a student from Belarus at Centro, don't call them Russian because they'll say we're not Russia anymore. That's not us. So just remember, it used to be Russia, not Russia. So yeah. All right.
No Zeus.
Yeah.
You say no Zeus. Oh, you say the words, teacher?
Oh yeah, this is a hard one actually. Everybody follow me with pronunciation. Nauseous.
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 And this is how
Nauseous.
she felt on that long boat ride.
Feeling
Benji, your hand was up first, or Kayla or Benji together.
Feeling sick, like you may vomit.
There you go. All
You
right.
say
Good job.
vomit, teacher?
Vomit.
Vomit.
Let me see. Look on your. Do we have if we go to our reactions, do we have a nauseous emoji?
Yeah, I think we have.
Yeah, we got.
Oh
we
wait.
got
Okay, I'm gonna show my nauseous emoji. Oh wait, there's a couple of them that look sick. Let's get. There's anger. I need nausea. Where's nauseous? Where's a
I will
nauseous
show you
emoji?
first.
I can't find the nauseous emoji. Here we go. Nauseous. Okay, I have crying.
It's not there.
It's not there. Okay, well.
No, maybe it's
It's
there.
not there.
Let's check
Okay,
out.
we'll
No, it's not there.
we'll contact Zoom and tell them that we need a vomiting emoji. Yeah. Oh, okay, nice. That's pretty close. That's pretty close. Raphael showing looks like a slightly upset emoji. All right. Next up, inconsolable. What is inconsolable? Raphael, go for it.
Very, very upset.
Very
Capable?
upset. Yeah. Upset. Yes, so upset. Like someone is
Oh.
crying and they can't stop crying. They're inconsolable. Very good.
Bensley is inconsolable.
She's got a big smile on her face. Okay. Peddler. What's a peddler? Oh, Raphael, you still have your hand up. Did you want to take that one?
Oh, yeah.
Hey,
A person who sells goods on the street or door to door.
Very good. A person who sells goods in the street or door to door. Very nice. Okay. Next up, serfs. Serfs.
oh,
Back page.
got
There.
it.
Page 4 in the back. Kayla, go for it.
In the feudal system, leaders, peasants who are forced to work for the landowners. Landowners?
Yeah, feudal system. Does everybody know familiar with the word feudal?
No.
Feudal is a system that predates the modern republic. So basically, it's very similar to a tribal system. So think of systems run by tribes or royalty. And in the case of Russia in the 19th century, there was a czar, and it was the Romanov Empire that controlled all the land. So the peasants who were not connected in any way to the royal family or had any power, they couldn't own land, and they were peasants, and they were oftentimes forced to work. It's important not to think of it's different than slavery in the triangular trade route, because that was lifetime slavery. So it's good not to equate those two, but it was a system of subjugation to landless peasants across Europe, a feudal system. That's a way to think of it. So basically, people who are at the bottom of European feudal system.
Is synonymous de slave? Slave?
Well, that's why I wanted to make the distinction. It's not, you don't want to think of it as a synonym of slaves, because there was a way out. A serf could work their way out of serfdom. A slave was generally a slave for life.
Okay, yeah.
And there was also something similar called indentured servitude. But serfdom, essentially, there were peasants who couldn't own land and were often forced to work to pay off debts. So people who were often forced to work, not always forced to work.
Yeah.
Conditional to work?
Yeah.
One question.
Let me give the more distinct definition of serfdom in the WhatsApp group. Here we go. Serfdom. There we go. Okay, everybody, here we go. Serfdom. All right, sending this to the WhatsApp group. Okay. All right, there you go. All right, now this one is very specific to a period in history, because nobody would know what this means today. If you walked into a store to buy clothes today, nobody would, and ask for this, nobody would know what you're talking about. But shirt waist, W-A-I-S-T, is very specific to this story. Shirt waist, as in W-A-I-S-T. And that is on the, it's the last word on page 4.
A woman,
blouse.
a woman's blouse or shirt that could easily be worn with any skirt, and was popular with American working women in the early 20th century.
There we go. So think of it like this. It kind of looked like this. It could be a skirt or a long shirt. It could work either way. So I don't know, but I think fashion a couple of years, you know what, a couple in the mid 2000s, I think women started wearing something similar to this, oversized t-shirts as skirts. I remember.
It's like they dress the pot with it's like the fur. Hey, stop.
Yeah, but think of it like as it can change from a skirt to a long shirt and be interchangeable. Like you can wear it as a really long shirt, a skirt, depending on how you wear it. That's called a shirt. And this is what that factory made. And it's W-A-I-S-T, not W-A, shirt waist, as in the waist, like around your hips, your waist. Not W-A-S-T-E, waist is to waist, like trash, but W-A-I-S-T.
How do you call that? They dress like they're wearing with the bar. They have to put the thing before put the dress to the. I don't know, but
I don't know either. I don't know either. Okay, next one. We're almost done. Rabbi. R-A-B-B-I. Rabbi. Think. I'll give you an equivalent in other religions. Imam. Bashir, what's an imam? Or Muhammad, what is an imam?
An imam,
Imam is like our priest.
Exactly. An imam, a priest, a minister. Same profession, different religion. So a rabbi is,
Rabbi is for the Jewish, I think.
correct. Yes, so it says a Jewish religious leader or teacher. So
That's the correct.
Jewish religious leader or teacher. Very good. The rabbi.
Sabbath. It's like
Oh, you know
the day
what's
off
kind of interesting?
Jewish-
If anybody goes to New York today and you go to a kosher restaurant, it's a rabbi's, they will actually pay a rabbi to come in the morning and say a prayer on the stove. If this is very strict kosher restaurants, they will actually, before they cook any food and turn the fire on the stove, the rabbi comes early in the morning and says a prayer in Hebrew to the stove before they cook the food. That's only really, really strict religious restaurants. Not some of them, not every kosher place is that strict, but some of them are really strict. They'll have a rabbi come, say a prayer for the stove, say a prayer for the water, say a prayer for this, that, and the other. And that's how they do it. A little bit similar to Muhammad, have you ever seen in a halal restaurant, like a halal butcher shop, like when you were growing up in Algeria, where somebody would say a prayer to the goat or the cow, whisper in their ear before they kill the animal?
What is it, teacher?
Have you ever been to a halal supermarket or butcher shop where they say a prayer to the animal before they kill it?
No.
Sir,
see
that's
that on the
traditional.
movie.
All Muslim
Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. So
Yeah, it's religious, not
basically, right.
traditional.
Yeah.
So,
That's religious. That's religious. All
Exactly.
Muslims do that before killing something.
exactly. So very similar. You could say, so in Islam, if you ever go to a one neighborhood I used to live in, which had a halal butcher shop, that would have somebody go before they killed a goat or a sheep. They would have an imam do a ritual, and they would whisper a prayer into the ear of the animal, and then they would cut the animal's throat. And that was how they knew, that was how they could sell the meat as halal meat to in a halal butcher shop. Rabbis do something very, very similar. They will oftentimes perform ceremonies for the food to make it kosher. So that so in a kosher bakery or kosher butcher shop, a rabbi may perform some type of religious ceremony or ritual for the food that will then be sold to Jewish people. Particularly before Sabbath, when they prepare for their Shabbos dinner, which is actually,
Shabbos dinner.
they call it Shabbos, but it's actually, they eat flatbread and a few other things, more of a simple dinner. But what is the Sabbath? This is an easy one. Sabbath. It's used in other religions as well. I think Bensley was about to say it, but I think her camera froze. Sabbath, that is on page.
I got it.
Okay, what is it? What is it, Kalo?
A day off, rest, and religious observance.
And
called
religious
Sabbath
observance called
in Yiddish.
There you go. There you go. The day of
You can
rest.
get it.
The day of rest. You got it. You got it. So I'm gonna tell you, this is an easy way to figure it out. Everybody knows monotheism.
Yeah.
What is it?
Monotheism.
No.
So this is Greek. Theos is God. Mono is one. So religions that have one God all have a day of rest.
I'm
I'm not sure about
Adventist, so we
Zoroaster.
always start like
Sabbath. So for Islam, the day is Friday. For Judaism, that is Saturday. And for Christianity, it is Sunday.
Yes.
So that's an easy way to remember it in your minds.
Like the Sabbath on Friday.
Exactly. So usually the religions that have, if you follow a religion that has a singular God, just one, that there will be a creation story and a Sabbath to follow. But the word Sabbath in English is oftentimes applied to each different religion. So the day of rest, the day of prayer, the day of going to perform your religious ceremony, that's called the Sabbath. Next up, this is an interesting one. It's related to labor. Scabs, S-C-A-B-S. I'm going to send you an organization that's popular in America that are scabs.
Is synonymous the strike breaker.
Really close, except strike breaker is a little bit more nefarious. Here we go.
It's a negative word for worker
It
who
is.
refuse
I'm going to
to
tell you why.
strike.
I'm going to tell you why. Here we go. Oh, I just realized the organization I was looking for is no longer called Labor Ready. It goes by a different name, but everybody take a look. This is an example of scab labor. Okay, I just sent it to the WhatsApp group. It is a negative definition. Oh, here's another one. Insta work, people ready.
Interior, I find a
Yep.
synonym say I cop are bastard. That's true?
Well, that's basically what Raphael was saying. If you take a look at the two companies I just sent you, there's InstaWork and there's People Ready. People Ready is formerly known as Labor Ready. I believe that's what Labor Ready turned into. There's True Blue Incorporated. Oh yes, True Blue Incorporated became a branch of Labor Ready. I get it. Okay, so People Ready predates Labor Ready. Okay, so what that is this. If let's say Bensley, you own a factory and you hire Bashir and Gustavo and Rafael to work long hours, and they form a union and they want to renegotiate their contracts, and they don't like your terms of the contract, so they go on strike.
Scabs.
What can you do to keep your factory running?
Sorry, teacher, they don't what? I didn't hear.
They want to strike. They want to strike. They stop working. They want more money. They say, pay us more money, Bensley. We're going to strike. What can you do?
I can negotiate with them.
Right. You're a nice person. You would renegotiate.
Oh,
but
you can
you
find
really
new
Me,
worker.
me.
You can find new worker.
I'll
Exactly.
find you.
Yeah, that's scab
Yeah.
labor.
If they
Scab
are good
labor.
Easy
workers,
way.
they are good
That's
good
right. You can
workers.
say,
You will
let's
lose
say, you know
them.
what, I'm gonna find
No.
I'm gonna hire Kalo, and I'm gonna hire this person and this person.
No, more money for me.
I can
and
negotiate with them if the if the money they
I'm just looking at who's in class right now. I'm gonna hire Helenise and Kayleen and Jean and Judith, and they're gonna
they
keep their jobs.
ask me, it's too high.
Nope, I just found Helenise and Judith and Lena, and they just arrived in America, and they appreciate the jobs more than these other people. So I'll pay them even less to work, and I make more money. Bye-bye. That's called,
They all people are fired.
exactly, you're all fired. So that's scab labor. Scab labor are people who are just ready to work in a moment's notice when a company goes on strike. So that's why it's oftentimes scab labor is considered negative if from the perspective of the workers, because the workers want to be able to go on strike to negotiate a better contract. But if you're an owner of a company, you say, you know what, I'll find somebody else to work for a lower price, and that's scab labor. No contract. How about just, I'll pay you for the day. Come on over and work. I'll just pay you for today. I'll pay you for through next week. The end. Good job. I don't need these people anymore. That's scab labor.
If they are good workers, so you lose them. There's something going on with you now. You lose money and you lose your good workers, and it's not the
But who
same
knows?
thing.
Bensley's got a mind for business. I mean, think about how many people are coming to this country every day looking for work.
Make
Yeah.
1,000.
Bensley says, no. People come here every day looking for work, and I can pay them nothing. I'll make more money for myself. I can just find these people come to America every day. I'll hire them to work for a week and pay them nothing, and they'll appreciate it.
Oh
The
no,
rest of you, go ahead, go on strike. You're fired. Bye-bye.
they will make you on fire one day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's the way you want to remember scab. Scab labor, it's a derogatory word for people who will work replacing the people who go on strike. So when workers go on strike, they stop working. Scab labor, that's people who come to work instead. The recent strikes in local history, the city of Newton, teachers went on strike for about a month and a half, and they renegotiated a much better contract. But now the city of Newton is not having a summer vacation. They're making it up.
And now there is a lot of scab in Boston.
Yeah, Stop and Shop had a strike. There was a strike about 5 years ago. Workers at Stop and Shop were on strike for a little while, and scab labor was hired. Just people you could show up, stock the shelves quickly. Scab labor. Oh, it's almost time for the break. We're past time for the break. Let's take a break. Okay, so you could figure out strike breakers, synagogue, czar, uprising in Yiddish on your own. Just make sure you know these vocab words. Let's take a break. Let's take a break. I'll stop recording. Here we go. All right, break time, everybody. The rest of the words, just study on your own.